Now we'll move on to the last part of this presentation, that is the spine and the back pain. Back pain is one of the most common causes of the workplace absenteeism. Many people are being affected by variety of the reasons for the back pain. It may be like a postural health, or it may be like a excessive work stress, which has an impact on the back pain. So this has been a leading cause for the loss of work days in many of the organizations on account of the back pain. It is also going to reduce the quality of the life experience like other diseases, as it is not allowing the free mobility, as it is not allowing the experience of the life in a best possible way. And then we can also see the episodes of back pain in 3 levels. It can be like acute, subacute, or chronic experience. At different situations and different times, the manifestation of the back pain can influence the intensity of the painful experience. And we can find the origin of the back pain in different structures of our body, such as it may be on the muscles, it may be in the joints, it may be in the neuromuscular junctions, or it can be in the muscular structure also. So wherever it can be arised, but it is going to create a sensation of painful experience. The scientific studies on yoga have proved that the yogic practices are helpful for improving the strength and flexibility, dexterity, orthostatic tolerance, and better neuromuscular coordinations, which are collectively helpful to enhance the health of our spinal column. When we focus on this particular diagram, we can see the structure of our spinal column. The spinal column is arranged in terms of vertebrae. There are 5 phases in 33 vertebrae. The first one is called as cervical region, which is one of the highest mobile part of the spinal column. Second is the cervical and the thoracic part, cervicothoracical region. There also we find the cervical and thoracic associated pain. The third is the lumbar pain or lumbar back pain, and the last part is the coccygeal plexus, where we can see the sacral region and the coccygeal, lumbosacral, like cervical, thoracic, lumbosacral are the common sites of the pain which we can experience on account of the back pain cases. The cervical region experiences the cervical spondylitis. Because of its high mobility, the manifestation leads to the inflammation, and that can cause the problem of cervical spondylitis, inflammation of the cervical region. And in the lumbar part, because of its high load bearing ability, most of the time we find the problem of lumbar spondylosis, the degeneration condition, which we can attribute to this lumbar part. The common causes of the back pains are different episodes of the back pain. We can see in the form of lumbar strain or the sprain, because of lifting of certain objects, or because of poor postures while working, or while driving, or while sitting, can contribute to the excessive strain on the lower back. This is one of the most common site of the back pain, as it is going to be a huge amount of weight on account of its load bearing mechanism. The second one, the degenerative changes on account of poor nourishment, on account of excessive usage of the particular region, or age related degenerative factors are common, which can also cause the problem in the lower back or in the lumbar region. Sometimes the bulging of the disc, the herniated condition, are one of the most common causes of the back pain. The slip disc is one of the example for the protrusion of the disc or herniation of the disc. And lumbar spondylosis, as I told, is the cause of degeneration in the lower back. And inflammatory arthritis is another factor where the fibrous or the cartilage structures are being fused, where the mobility is being restricted on account of arthritic condition. Arthritis means the arresting of the movement in that particular region. So all these factors contribute for the back pain either in the moderate condition or in the severe condition like acute, subacute or chronic episodes of the back pain. Now let us see the back pain management through yoga. Yoga provides one of the best possible approach for the prevention of back pain as well as in the treatment of the back pain. Healthy lifestyle and food habits are essential for the good health of the spine. Healthy lifestyle includes the proper physical activity so that the mobility of the variety of the joints of our systems are well maintained. The movement of the joints contribute for effective blood circulation and they prevent the difficulties like the frozen shoulders or difficulties associated with any mobile condition of the spinal column. The mobility of the back is well maintained. In terms of food, we can contribute for a nourishment, healthy nutrition in the form of minerals, vitamins, apart from the macronutrients like the carbohydrates, fat, proteins. The micronutrients in the form of minerals and the vitamins are also essential. Particularly the calcium and iron are very important nutrients which are to be supplied for the health of the muscular and skeletal structure, to maintain the proper growth of the bone, to maintain the proper functioning of the muscular structure. The role of nourishment has a significant contribution. Then the cleansing techniques are helpful practice so that most of the time on account of metabolism we accumulate too much of toxins which is the result of imbalance in our vata, pitta, kapha, the body humus. So these are the toxins which generally get blocked in different sites leading to the different sides of the joints leading to the inflammation. So the practice of kriyas helps to throw out the impurities of body so that one can maintain the good flexibility and strength by enhancing the effective digestion, effective elimination of the waste materials from the body. And one of the most beneficial aspect of yoga therapy is the asana. Variety of the asanas are contributing a great health for the spinal column. One of the important aspect is the spinal alignment. Due to the postural imbalances, we are very prone to impact our spine for many of the degenerative conditions. The proper alignment of the spinal column helps to allow the free flow of the energy in its circuit. The pranic energy can be moved, which is mainly attributed in the form of the chakras, like energy centers, through the energy channels, the nadis. The pranic energy centers are allowing this flow of energy. In the asana practice, we see the proper traction to the problem which are accounting on the spinal issues, and the pranayama practice plays the significant role in the maintenance of the healthy cerebrospinal fluid which runs through the spinal column, and it also helps to overcome the excessive fluorides in the blood, and the practice of pranayama supplies the good amount of oxygen and nutrition through the enhancement of the blood circulation. So these are the ways which the pranayama practice contribute for the enhanced nourishment of the blood to keep the healthy spinal column. And the last approach is the relaxation techniques. Most of the time, the stressful situations or the tension conditions accumulate too much of energy in the joints, and this will limit the free mobility of the different parts of the body. And the spine is one of the most common site of various joints. So the relaxed condition of the mind and body helps to relieve the impact of the emotions, relieve the impact of the stressful situations on the mind as well as the body, so that they can freely contribute for the better circulation, better movement, and better working condition. So the collective experience of the relaxation releases the enormous amount of energy which is being stored in the form of pent-up experience due to the chronic stress. It is a state of vitality. The release of the enormous amount of energy itself is the feeling of good relaxation from the joints, from the muscles, which we play in the form of healthy spinal column. For the effective therapy practice, we can find use of various asana practices. The practice of asana from the standing asanas, sitting asanas, forward bending asanas, as well as the inverted postures along with the twisting postures helps the spine to have healthy movements. The spine, to be in a healthy condition, it is required to move in multiple directions, like forward movement, backward movement, lateral movements, as well as twisting, finally the inverted condition. These 7 movements contribute for healthy condition of the spinal column. The best asana sequence which we can follow for the practice of yoga therapy for overcoming the back pain is the Vajrasana, and then the Supta Vajrasana, Urdhva Vajrasana, Parivrita Urdhva Vajrasana. Urdhva Vajrasana is interlocking the fingers and stretching the arms up. Parivrita is from there itself, it is a twisting position. So these 4 asanas help to relieve the pain by the combination of the Vajrasana in the sitting position. Then in the standing category, we can take the Kati Parivartasana. The spinal column is being twisted on both the sides, right side and the left side. The alternative contraction and relaxation reduces the stiffness, the resistance, the tension around the waist as well as in the cervical region. That is helpful for relieving the back pain in these 2 reasons by the Kati Parivartasana, and Ardha Chandrasana is a lateral movement which is going to help the lateral flexibility of the spinal column. Tadasana, in its variation, it restores the harmony of the system. Purvottanasana is one of the best practice to improve the strength of the lower back. Pavan Muktasana, Bhujangasana, Shalabhasana and Dhanurasana collectively brings the greater strength on the lower back and the upper back, and in Dhanurasana we can find the effect being duplicated to strengthen the whole spinal column. The nourishment of the spinal column is being enhanced through the combination of these 4 asanas. And the Paryankasana also improves the lateral strength. Vrakshasana is a tree posture. It is going to help the lower back, particularly in the lumbar region. It brings the greater stability by maintaining the symmetrical arrangement on both the sides. This practice is a helpful practice. And the cat pose, the Marjalasana 1 and 2 are helpful to maintain the convex and concave movement of the spinal column, through which it releases the stiffness and contributes for easing the pain from the spinal column. Bharadwajasana is one of the twisting posture which is helpful for alternative contraction and relaxation. Through this, it squeezes the impurities from the body and allows the fresh oxygenated blood to be supplied to carry the nutrients to the required cells. Viparita Karani is an inverted posture which is going to improve the venous return. This contributes to overcome the impurities by effective elimination, and it also contributes for effective assimilation and absorption of the nourishment, as it makes better drainage, as it contributes for free flow of the energy. Through that we can contribute for the effective nourishment. Uttana Padasana is a counterpose for this one. These 2 asana helps to relieve the pain in the lower back as well as in the upper back. So likewise, the systematic selection of the yoga poses and their implementation in a proper sequence contributes for effective management of the back pain issues, and they can also contribute for healthy spinal column. Now we can see these important pranayama practices for the good health of the spinal column. Ujjayi helps to develop the healthy lung capacity through which we can contribute the effective energy circulation. And Anuloma Viloma, which balances the two forces of our energy, like the physical energy and the mental energy, are Ida and Pingala pranic energy channels are being balanced, which keeps a fine balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Bastrika is one of the best practice for purifying the body. It's good practice to enhance the metabolism. It's a good practice to overcome the impurities by creating an intense heat. This will be one of the best selection in the pranayama practice for the back pain management. Bahya Kumbhaka, external breath retention, contributes for an effective pain management. Brahmari or Pranava practice are going to develop the soothing effect. The vibrations which are created either the Om chanting or the Brahmari pranayama enhance the vasodilation. The vasodilation mechanism is helpful to improve the effective blood circulation, and they relieve the congestion as well as contribute for improving the overall health by creating the resonance, which has a greater impact on our nervous system. Yoga Nidra and the Shavasana are the relaxation techniques, as I told in the previous slide about the modules of yoga therapy for back pain. They help to relieve the tensions, they help to relieve the stiffness of the body. Likewise, we can make the collective experience of the asana, pranayama, meditation to prepare a proper protocol of yoga therapy for the back pain. With a deep sense of gratitude, I thank the organizers for providing this opportunity, and I also thank you for taking part in this training program, being patient to listen the presentations. Thank you one and all.